If you're a small business owner who has struggled to offer quality health care for your employees due to high costs, stay tuned. We're going to speak with a Colorado-based company who has figured out how to save you money while offering high-quality health care to your employees. Hello, I'm Eddie Lawrence, and I'm the founder of the Life Calibration process. The Life Calibration is a framework to view our life areas and our life aspects. What I do with the Life Calibration is I talk to professionals in their respective fields and how we can apply their advice to improve our lives. Today we'll be talking with my friends at Peakmed, Dr. Mark Tomosolo and Dr. Eric Hetzel, on how we can better take care of ourselves under our overall health, sleep, nutrition, exercise. These are areas of our well-being that we all know about. They're obvious, they're simple, but we do tend to neglect. Tell us about Peakmed and how it helps people be healthy and stay healthy.
When we started the company, the number one priority was let's give physicians back the practice of medicine, and let's do that in a way that changes the access for a patient and the cost that's associated with a patient getting health care. And so Peakmed was founded on a monthly membership type of model, very similar to a gym or Netflix, completely outside of insurance. And so you pay a flat monthly fee for our services, and with that flat monthly fee you have unlimited access and unfettered access to your physicians and your provider. And our job is to eliminate every transaction we possibly can on the insurance side of the equation, which saves everybody money. No different than if you're talking about, maintenance on a vehicle. You don't pay your insurance company to change your oil. You don't pay your insurance company to check your tires every month. And you don't do that from a preventive maintenance standpoint in your automobile. So you probably shouldn't be doing that on the healthcare side either. You don't need to have your insurance pay for a primary care appointment that costs pennies on the dollar compared to what it would cost on the insurance side. So that was our approach and that was our model when we started the company, and we've been very successful at that. And in the process, we've not only been able to change our lives as physicians, but we've been able to change people's lives as well.
Yeah, and to piggyback on Dr. Tomosolo, I think this model, when you dehinge payment from care, now we have, if you're paid on a monthly membership fee, now we can take care of you however fit whatever the patient is presenting with. If it's allergies or something less acute, we can jump on a telemedicine call, we can, an email or a phone call or sometimes text message. And now we can focus, when you dehinge payment, which is on fee-for-service of seeing a patient get paid, now we can focus on caring for the patient. So what's great about Peakmed is our incentives are aligned with the patient, and where we've done well with is employer groups as well as wrapping Peakmed into that, and we can start to see them more in our office. And like Dr. Tomosolo was saying, just like on the automobile, you're not making claims and insurance isn't going up. And so that's where we align ourselves with our patients and delivering the value. And so it becomes much more value-based care just by default, by the way we set it up.
Let's talk about some of the history we have with Peakmed. My business, MTR, Mobile Transport Repair, and Peakmed. We have a long history together. We were one of the earlier businesses that came on with Peakmed, and truly helped us out as a small business to be able to offer benefits to our employees that we had no other option. And Peakmed came around and gave us that opportunity as a small business to offer those benefits.
Yeah, I think, we started on the individual side with just people being able to join the practice, and turned out that those individuals had small companies and they weren't offering benefits because insurance was, $500-600 a month, and you have 10 employees. As a small business, you can't afford an extra $5,000 or $6,000 a month for those employees, even though you want to. And so employers started paying for the membership on behalf of their employees in order to create a benefit for them. And that over the last 7 years has transitioned into, 80% of our revenue comes from businesses and 20% from individuals. And So we've been very fortunate to manage, over 200 companies here in Colorado, and some really large ones and some really, really small ones. But I think the foundation of what Peakmed is it goes back down to the basics of there's a doctor and there's a patient. Whether that patient is an employee or an individual, our goal is to eliminate everything in between that relationship and make it cost affordable for you to see the provider and actually get preventative, actually get proactive, actually create wellness. I think as you get older, mortality becomes more realistic and you start thinking about things that you could be doing better. And if you can remove the financial barrier to that from occurring, some really magical things happen for not just the individual, but from an employer's perspective. Like, as a small business ourselves, we want to offer benefits to our employees because it's, one, the right thing to do, and two, we want to retain talent. We want to recruit new talent, and we're a small business competing against, this $100 million building across the street for the same talent. And the only thing I can, offer is, hey, we're a small, company, and we want to, do things differently. And here's our philosophy and our culture. That's translated into really large businesses, to where now you actually have hospital systems asking us to take care of their employees because we do a better job at it and we do it cheaper. It's been a really interesting journey over the last 7 years, from when, Eddie, you guys came on. You were one of the first companies that took a leap of faith to do something, and it just turned out that something has turned into a pretty good business model at the end of the day. And, we are a high volume, low margin company, and intentionally, because we want to make healthcare affordable again. And I think that's been the biggest benefit. And out of that philosophy, opportunities like this have come into play. And so it's pretty awesome to see, like, the collaboration, not just from a healthcare perspective, but one company taking care of another company, and doing it in a way that allows both organizations to grow and be successful. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen this over the years as well, working with mobile transport repair, and it's been exciting to see how we can figure things out with you, and if we can make you more valuable. It's encouraging hearing that you added employees, spouses, and children, and I think when we do a good job of providing good care and getting into the personal health of Life Calibration, you're giving someone not just a health care, but you're giving them access to a primary care physician or provider, and that's that relationship. And that once they get in here and we do our job of taking care of them well, they're gonna have that relationship and they're gonna form a bond there. And so if we can foster that for small companies like yourself, and you have a good employee, that makes them much more likely to stay with your company versus going to the competitors, because they've got to not only change their job, but that other competitor may not have a Peakmed, and that's a relationship with their primary care, their family physician, that is going to be much more difficult, that they're going to not find in the marketplace. It's been cool to see Mobile Transport Repair iterate on this and providing a health sharing plan on top of it to wrap around Peakmed to ensure outside of things, and paying for labs, yearly lab panels. Those things have been very, very, it's been a model practice within our practice on how small companies can figure out how to take care of their people well without the big expensive insurance plan. So.
I think it's pretty awesome to take what seems very intuitive and very logical when you talk about it and actually put it into paper. These are things that I think everybody processes at one point in time, whatever point in life you're at. I think taking the logic out of a thought and applying it to paper, and then putting it in a way that can be methodical, and you can actually go through a process of identifying what some of the challenges are, and then at the same time giving you milestones to be able to quantify what those challenges are, and as you progress through the process, to watch that those things starting to improve. which ultimately, you know, the whole concept with life calibration is literally that, like recalibrating things, you know, with the first thing being you've got to identify what you're trying to calibrate at the end of the day, and then have something to quantify improvement over a period of time. And the thing that I think the thing that I like the most about life calibration is the fact that you don't truly define it for an individual at the end of the day. It's for that individual to define it for themselves, which then allows them to accomplish whatever goal that they're choosing to. And it's irrelevant whether you agree with that goal or not. It's a matter of going from, you know, goal A to goal B, and that might be a very small increment. And so I think that, you know, the ability to create awareness, create milestones that someone can gauge, and you're constantly re-looking at this process, you know, month over month, year over year. And what I've learned in life is that you're never done growing. You're never done learning. You're never smart. You're always getting smarter. And this is just one more example of it. You know, when you think you've got it all figured out, you very quickly learn that you really don't have anything figured out. And so you got to keep looking backwards to keep moving forwards. And so I think that's the value of what I found inside of this and why I was excited about when you presented it.
And I agree, and I love the what you've done is you've taken you're majoring on the majors of life, and that's your personal health, whether that's mental and physical health, and your personal relationships, probably arguably the two biggest categories of your life. And then you're pulling together work, which really people find a lot of meaning and value in their work, but that really funds at the end of the day the most important aspects of your life, which is your family, your spouses, your significant others, your children, and then your health. And I think we've learned in the last year, those are the two things when everything else is taken away, whether it's money or jobs or and even when health with a pandemic comes to threaten our health, we realize how much we value that, and we run to those areas. So it's a great plan that kind of objectifies and measures you majoring on the majors of life, which is your personal relationships, and all of those dovetail together to optimal health. And so when you're focusing on your personal health and your relationships, those build together to give you the best health possible and the best quality of life. So
how does exercise, nutrition, and sleep integrate overall and affect our health, both in our body and our mental well-being?
Yeah, I think they all have symbiotic relationships at the end of the day, right? I mean, you can eat and exercise, you know, as healthy as you want, and if you're not getting the rest that you need, then something's going to be sacrificed. And so, you know, one of these components don't work, or they're definitely not optimized without looking at all of them together. You know, I think what we've learned throughout the last year, more than any time prior to this, is there's a component of, you know, nutrition and exercise and sleep, and there's also other layers, you know, of generalized health, and then, you know, mental health as a component of that. These things all have interactions together, and so one is contingent on the other. You know, so it's not like you can, you know, say, well, I'm going to get as much sleep as I need, and then you're going to neglect the other aspects of your life because it's going to have a negative impact. And to your point, there's a balance, you know, between all of these things. I mean, as much as we would all like to be perfect, we will never be. So having some balance of, like, you know, exercising a couple of days a week, eating healthier, whatever that means to you. I always equated it, you know, if you're trying to create a goal of eating better, I don't have to tell you how to eat better. You probably are very aware of some of the things that you're doing wrong, right? If you're and make it very small goals. You know, if you're eating a dozen donuts a day, try eating a half dozen donuts a day. Like, that's an improvement. It's not optimized by any means, but it's better than a dozen, right? So, and I think you have to make these incremental steps. You know, if somebody says, you know, go eat a rice cake for the rest of your life and you're going to live to 100, I'm going to say I want to die at 60 and eat pizza. Like, you know, like, you have to have some balance somewhere. So I think that's the benefit of, like, really looking at these different categories that you've outlined and defined, you know, the personal side, the nutrition, the sleep, the mental health, the, you know, the physical health, I think are, you know, it's a stool. You need all legs to be the same size in order for them to work well.
If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button below to be notified of our upcoming videos. If you are looking to level up your life, click the link in the description to visit our website and download your free life calibration workbook. This tool is your framework for identifying what's missing, refocusing your effort and energy, and systematically improving the quality of every area of your life.